Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, brave hearts all around the world. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and this is DocStar TV. And today what I'd like to talk about is something that is so obvious that most people don't notice it, okay? And that's this. Bad foods, okay, create bad moods, okay, that create bad bacteria, okay, that create bad messages to the brain, because your bacteria talk 9 times to your brain, where your brain only talks once back to the body for every 9 times your bacteria talk to your brain. Wow, calculate that one. Okay, so let's do it one more time. So, bad foods, okay, create bad moods, and bad moods create bad bacteria that create bad messages to your brain. Okay, now guess what? Bad bacteria create bad relationships. Oh, yes, they do. Listen, it's not just the physical pain that you're feeling from the gas, from farting, from indigestion, from bloating, low back pain, okay? To have low back surgery because you've been pooping in your pelvis for so long because of the endotoxin that comes off these endobacterium, that the good guys become the bad guys, and then they gas off, and that creates acidity that pulls calcium from your spine, from your vertebrae, and then it causes scar tissue in your tendons, ligaments, and in the cartilage. The cartilage dehydrates, so then you think you're losing height because you're losing bone. You know what? You can go to a doctor, for pity's sakes, and say, "Listen, doc, I don't know what's going on. You know, I used to be 2 inches taller." "Oh, well, you're losing bone calcium." And guess what? He doesn't even know what he's talking about. You don't get shorter because you lose bone calcium. That would mean that your head shrunk, okay? I don't know. In Africa, some tribes, they do head shrinkage, I think. But I don't think that's actually what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. It's actually the cartilage discs in between your vertebrae, okay? You are getting infected from pooping in the pelvis, okay? And when you get infected, then you get inflamed. And when you get inflamed, guess what? We're barbecuing the cartilage, so of course we're dehydrating it, so it looks like it's thinning out. Let me tell you something, okay? I've got a slip disc. What do? Slip into your underwear? Let me tell you something right now, okay? 95% of all illnesses are caused on a physical level, but from a dysfunctional bowel. So here we go again. I'm going to say it again. I want you to think about it, okay? And then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about it. So, bad foods create bad moods. Bad moods create what? Bad bacteria. Bad bacteria create bad messages to your brain. And guess what? What does that create? Well, that creates bad relationships with yourself and everyone else. Okay? Where have you ever been angry? Have you ever been depressed and you don't know why? You ever been angry and you don't know why? Are you ever losing your temper? Do you react and attack people? Well, guess what? It's part of it. Now, here's one for you. When you have a bad mood, do you go make a salad? Well, you better not. Because for one thing, if you had a bad mood, you don't eat something good. You eat something that levels the vibration of the mood, okay? When you're feeling really good about yourself, you're easily not eating crap. So the reality is, they want you to feel bad about the world, bad about others. They want you to hate things so that you'll eat bad food, because your emotional will match your physical choices. Okay. Kathleen, you have sciatica. Oh, yes. Well, guess what, Kathleen? I'm going to explain something to you, love. And you better take this one to the bank. You go ahead and have the chiropractor adjust, okay, your lower back, your SI joint. Because that's what they do. When you get on your side and they twist, they're adjusting your SI joint. And guess what they're doing? They're trying to pop the joint back into place. Meanwhile, the joint, okay, so your SI joints, they sit, okay, right down at your lower back, okay? They sit down lower back. Go look it up. Just, put it in Google. And your SI joints sit about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from your spine. They sit just above your sacrum, okay? Which is the lowest part of your spine. Now, what happens is those SI joints, okay? When you walk, you're supposed to be like this. That's how they work. They go like this. They move like this. Now, when you get calcified and scar tissue in here, you waddle like a duck, or you limp, dragging one hip. And understand something. I don't care how bad your sciatica is. I care for you, but I don't care how bad your sciatica is. If you give me 15, 20 minutes, I will show you that we will get rid of it. Now, I'm going to get back to our story here, but when somebody brings up a question, okay, then I'm going to answer it, okay? So I kind of get deviated. People say, well, why don't you stay on track? Well, how do you stay on track? I don't know. I want to answer a question. So here's the deal. So what happens is, in your SI joint, which is only about this big, love, and guess what? Did you ever notice when you were younger, you had dimples there? You had dimples where your SI joints were. Isn't that something? You had dimples, eh? And then after a while, you don't have any dimples. You get scar tissue wrapped around the SI joint from the infection and the inflammation and the scar tissue formation and the calcification so that you don't have mutation, okay? And then what you do is you also get calcification, but you get scar tissue wrapped around the SI joints. So guess what? They're not doing this anymore. They're not. So that would be like the door hinges getting rusty. So we got to put WD-40 on there, and that would be, listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. Most people are going to have this for the rest of their life. They'll have it for so long that they'll end up getting hip surgery, because what people don't realize, and in most cases, they actually get this from pooping in their pelvis, and your pelvis is called the pelvic bowl, and you're pooping in your pelvis because bad foods create what? What do they create? What do they create? Bad foods. They create bad moods, okay? And they also create bad bacteria. Okay, wait. Bad foods create bad bacteria, which then give off the wrong messages and give off infection, okay? So that creates the bad moods, and it creates the low back problems. Let me tell you something right now. And, any surgeon out there, I would love you to come on a show. I really would. I can't wait, okay? So 469-861-8884. And I'll tell you why I can't wait. Because everybody needs to know that low back surgeries are the main surgeries that are done on the back, and they're done because you pooped in your pelvis and you rotted yourself out. Oh, come on and challenge me. Come on, I don't care if you're a natural health doctor or a medical doctor or who you are. You know what? The world's gone too far. Most people are right at the bloody cliff, and I'm willing to open my mouth. I'm willing to take the risk. And the reality is this. Pooping in the pelvis is what causes most low back surgeries. Okay, and I'll say 95%. 95% of hip replacements, 95% of knee replacements. That's not true. That's not true. I got into a car accident 10 years ago, and now I have to get my knee replaced. Well, you got in a car accident, that created inflammation, and then caused scar tissue formation and scar tissue formation and calcification on your knee, because that's what comes with every inflammatory situation. Now, if you would have seen a Wolf non-surgical therapist, they would have been able to get the calcium back into the bones. They would have used non-surgical, and they would have gone in and opened up the cartilage. They would have helped. They would have rehealed the meniscus. Yes. Oh, I've got a torn meniscus. There's no way that this can be repaired. We haven't had anybody go to knee surgery or carpal tunnel syndrome or hip surgery or back surgery that we know of in years. The body is amazing. It was created by God Almighty, and we need to start acting like it, okay? A surgeon's only going to say, I'll keep an eye on that for you, and then when it gets bad enough, I'll cut it out. A physician's only going to say, okay, I'll keep an eye on it for you, and then when you come back, we'll just give you stronger drugs until they cut off the pain response to the brain, so you're not feeling any pain, but the inflammation's still there, making the scar tissue formation and the calcification until you're dragging your ass all over town, or you're not even moving anymore, and now they got you, okay? Just know this, that medical doctors and have been set up, okay, to believe that the body doesn't heal, and I'm telling you that's not the truth. Okay, it's not the truth. Yeah. Now, here's the deal. So let's just talk about this again. So bad foods create bad moods. Okay. No, wait a minute. I got it wrong. It's bad moods create bad foods. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got it wrong. It's both. It's called pinball misery. Pinball misery. So when I'm in a bad mood, do I treat myself right, or do I go eat the treats, okay? All right? And why do I go to eat the treats? Well, let me think here. Well, I'll tell you why. Because if somebody's not loving me like I want them to, okay? And I get really pissed off. I'm gonna go to alcohol, I'm gonna go to donuts, I'm gonna go to some kind of sugar, I'm gonna go to some kind of stimulant, I'm even gonna go to CBD, I might even smoke a joint, okay? Or I'm gonna take something that's gonna release serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin from my brain so I feel good until it comes back here. I don't know, I try to stop these calls from coming in, but guess what? If Lori doesn't like me if Lori does not love me like I want, or my kids love me like I want, then I'm going to eat donuts, I'm going to drink alcohol, I'm going to do things to stimulate the serotonin so that I feel good, okay? And understand, it's all just a big setup anyways. And the reality is I just want to tell you something right now, and you better get this, and that is this. I will keep on coming on here, so I am doing my part. Even though you may not believe I'm trying to do my part, you might think I'm a bit of a terrorist because the majority of the population is going to rot out and die, okay? Oh my God, you are nasty, nasty today, Daryl. Are you in a bad mood today, Daryl? I'm not. Most of the population is going to rot out and then they're gonna die a miserable death. And the reality is this. There's no systems out there. There's no foundation. There's no net to catch anybody. I mean, how many practitioners, even natural health practitioners, try to create a perfect day from the moment you rise till you close your eyes and give you a money back guarantee? Now, you can say, well, that's a sales pitch. I don't think so. I think that if you're a natural health practitioner and you are as good as you think you are, you should be giving a money back guarantee on everything you do. So yeah, I'm calling everybody out today. And here's the deal. Bad foods give bad moods. Bad moods give bad relationships. Do you know how many divorces there are? How many breakups there are? Do you know how many people live together? They don't even like each other because they don't like themselves. When you fall in love with someone, you don't fall out of love with them, okay? In 99% of the cases, you fall out of love with yourself because you never did love yourself. You use them as a big giant nipple, okay? And you sucked off of them. And that's what we do. Okay, tell me this. Remember when you the first relationship where you like boom, the first relationship. Okay, first of all, so here's me. My mommy and daddy, they love me. They love me so much, okay? When I'm born, they allow me to cry. They allow me to throw up. They allow me to keep them up overnight. I can do anything I want. But then when I start to walk and talk like mommy and daddy, I'm going to get punished because mommy and daddy don't know that I'm even walking and talking like them. And guess what? Guess what? That unconditional love is now conditional. You do what mommy tells you or mommy's not going to love you. You do that and nobody will like you. You wait until daddy gets home. Oh, and by the way, that might even be better being a bad boy or a bad girl because if you're really good, mommy's going to poison you with some sugar. I promise you, mommy will poison you with some sugar. So guess what? So now you're really good. Mommy poisons you with bad foods and then you have a bad mood and then you end up getting punished anyway. Oh my God, how are we going to win? So the reality is this. Lori, we went to Costco the other night, right? Yep. So I'm on in the car with my practitioners because I do a lot of trainings for my practitioners. They're free. And we talk about everything, emotional, nutritional. We talk about the world. We talk about things. You know, we're there to support them, right? Okay, this is where I find my roar. Okay, so anyways. So Lori goes in to return what's called Sonos, the speaker system. Well, I don't want it because this speaker system, I either have to buy Apple Music or Spotify or it won't play it. Go figure. Everything's a control thing here. So if that's the truth, then they must be listening to me all the time. So I went and got a really good Sony one. But the reality is this. She waits in line, honestly, for about 40 minutes, right? Am I right, hon? Yeah. Okay, so then I come in and I go, I'll relieve you. I didn't know she'd still be in line, but I relieved her. And anyway, so she's standing here. I'm standing here. There's somebody behind. And the person behind, okay, all right? Guys, I'm not telling you that all healthy people and people that weigh the right weight are nice to people because if you don't like yourself, you don't like others. But let me tell you something. This lady here, okay, she looked like she could be 4 months pregnant and she wasn't because it was hanging down pretty low, maybe 5 months pregnant, okay? And she was puffy in the face. She was on her phone during the whole time. But then when I came, I said, I'll relieve you, Lori. And I just lifted up this thing so Lori could get under it. So I moved maybe 2 feet. Okay. And then I go back and she's already there. And I go, oh, hold on a second. I was in line there. And she goes, no, you left your spot and it's mine. And I said, what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath and just go back there because we've been here for like 45 minutes waiting. And then she decided to tell me, what did she tell me to do, honey? A bad thing, didn't she?
Oh, yes, she did.
It starts with F, okay? All right. And then she also put on the end, and you can die too, okay? So the reality is, I just smiled and I said, listen, just relax, okay? And just take it real easy. And I'm sure that you'll get in line and it'll happen really quick for you, okay? Well, it didn't go over really good what I said. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything, but I wasn't just going to leave the line, but I wasn't going to fight with her either. And then about 5 minutes later, somebody else comes and then she gets to be served and she comes up and she goes, hi, how are you today? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Bad moods create bad foods. Take a look at the way people are today. Now, what I want to say is very important, everyone, and I hope you get this. Stay away from toxic people because they can't help themselves. And if they had this, there's a thing called V-Rage, and you're going to find out about it. And it may take about a year before it gets out to the general public, but it's called V-Rage, okay? Now, the reality is when I say stay away from people, that's not punishing them. It's so you're not punishing yourself. You want to protect your vibration. You really do want to protect your vibration. Does anybody not notice that people have a lot of anxiety and they're right on the edge? I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to give you a little bit of what would be called Daryl's little crystal ball into the future. I believe around March or April, that will be the Super Bowl kickoff. And I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about some really crazy stuff happening on the planet. And I believe that by my guesstimation that we are not going to get out of this thing that's going to happen, okay, until probably 2032. And that's it. So now you might think that that's very depressing, but the reality is this is why you need to get good food so you have a good mood and that you actually know how to start preparing yourself in a way that nobody can enslave you or enslave you or terrorize you. And that's what we're doing, right, Lori?
Yeah.
So in the last 2 days, I have just did a pivot like this because we're realizing, okay, you know what? I could have a tantrum and go, no, I'm going to continue my business the way I want to. I've worked 40 years and nobody's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to continue to keep on doing the way I've been going. I'm not changing. And guess what? I'm going to tell you something. What a dumb ass I would be. Okay? It's like if there's a tsunami coming in, oh, I'm not moving. This is my house. No. So most of you, and I don't mean you on here, but most of the majority of the population is not going to wake up to this. They're just going to talk about it. They're going to complain about it. And do you know why? Because they can't think clearly. Because guess what? We're eating 100 times more sugar than we did, okay, back in 1900. And you have to understand something. People drink more alcohol. They toke like it's the end of the world, okay? They're dehydrated. You know, the average woman should be drinking 3 to 4 quarts a day. The average man, 4 to 5 quarts. And if you're as big as a man, you drink 4 to 5 quarts. You cannot drown. You do not dilute your nutrition. It will not hurt your kidneys. It will save them. It's all BS. And then for God's sakes, you know what? My Black Friday sale's coming. Take advantage of it. Get yourself a non-surgical. Get yourself a structured water unit. Honey, can I see that one? Now, a structured water unit, I can put under any tap, not filter anything. I mean, if the water came out brown, I'm not going to drink it. But I don't filter the water, do we? We don't filter the water anywhere we go around the world. How do I look? I'm 67.
This is it?
This is it. This is it. There's no filter. And when it goes through the structure unit, okay, through here, all right, I can drink the water. and then you're going to put it through a Berkey, or you're going to put through a distiller, you're going to put through reverse osmosis or a really expensive filtration system. But if you didn't structure the water, you didn't get rid of the frequencies from the people that drank it, you better hope they were all in a good mood. And understand something, water's not structured, but every 17 times it goes through the toilet. About the 17th time it goes through the toilet, it gets structured by the ozone layer, or it gets structured by you. So whether you want to buy bottled water, which I would never do, you'll never see me buy. What kind of mentality does it take to go and buy bottled water? Who buys the Smart Water? Who buys the Dasani? Who buys all that crap? These are the same psychos that you're complaining about that put the mask on you, that are doing this, that are creating that thing in Israel and that thing in the Ukraine, and then you go and you buy bottled water. You know, all we do is show that we're been dumbed down. We make this, just stand at Costco and see what goes in the carts. Okay, the other day I went and showed what's in the fridge. You won't find one thing in the fridge that isn't completely healthy. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. My heart goes out to every one of you, okay? The majority of the population, and I will say this, and I'm not saying less because I know it's true. 99 out of 100 people are totally drug addicted. Whether it's sugar, whether it's flour products, whether it's seed oils, okay, whether it's, and then we can go through all the other things, alcohol and all the other stimulants and all the other drugs and medications that we're taking because we're trying to find love. We're trying to find a dopamine, serotonin rush so we can feel good. I just want to feel good. But if you're not working on learning how to fill up your own heart, putting a smile, if you don't want to put a smile on your face, you know what? When I start a whole life coach course, okay, and that's like a 9-day course, it's the most in-depth and the most powerful I believe that my course is the best whole life coach course in the world. I give a money back guarantee on it, okay? They say copper good to drink. No. And then you drink too much copper. Now you got copper poisoning. Please, guys, they're going to put out so much information out there. That's just like somebody got into a fight with me the other day. I mean, into a fight with me, okay, about drinking alkaline water. I drink alkaline water. Now, there's nothing wrong. You can buy a Kangen unit, which is totally overpriced, by the way. But if you can afford it, you go get one, okay? But a structured water unit right now is going to cost you around $240, and I'll give you a 90-day money-back guarantee that it'll blow your mind. And when does it wear out? Never. What batteries does it take? Nothing. No electricity, no moving parts, okay? And you can put it in your inheritance. How's that? Now, the other day I was talking, and this lady got so upset with me. Okay, and she says it's alkaline water that gets you healthy, and I said no. The water could even be a little bit under 7 pH. It could even be 6.8, 6.9. If it's structured, it's going to heal you, because guess what? It's about getting the hydration into the cells. That's the key. It's not what pH it is. I mean, you know, people are out there drinking 9.5 pH. Do you know what they're doing to their stomach acid? Okay, if you've got cancer, you want to do 9.5 pH, go ahead, because you got to throw all the alkaline at you because you're on your way out maybe anyways. But there's a heck of a lot better ways to actually turn cancer around if you look at the logic of healing. And most practitioners don't even know what that is, because the reality is you can get all the calcium back into the bones. And anybody that has cancer, you're going to find out that they have osteoporosis so bad their bones are crippling wherever the tumor is or whatever the type of cancer is. So understand that. I mean, you got to understand that infection creates inflammation. Inflammation, if not looked after, will create mutation. So now you've got to have calcification where you're pulling the calcium from the bones. I mean, it's really logical. And most practitioners don't get this. But we're still going to come back to this one thing. Bad moods, okay, are created by bad foods. And people who have bad moods eat bad foods. And people who have bad moods don't have good relationships with themselves first and foremost, so they don't have any with anyone else. So I'm not hanging around with people that eat bad foods. I'm definitely not going to do it. I need people that around in my life that the only thing they're expanding, not their body, is their consciousness. Their consciousness. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to give you a little key here. Okay, and it's all about consciousness. It's all about getting the energy to travel up through your spine and into your brain. Okay, it's about bringing heightened awareness, and that's what it's truly about. Isn't it kind of funny? You know, they said that Jesus died when he was 33, and there's 33 vertebrae in the spine. And if you take a look at old teachings, it's all about generating energy and higher frequencies in the spine. Because remember something. Oh, here's one for you. You know that pelvic girdle? It's called the pelvis. Most of you are pooping in your pelvis, and I love you anyway, okay? And the reality is this. When you poop in your pelvis, the vibration and the frequency you set, that goes into the coccyx, which goes into the spinal fluid, that goes to the brain to feed messages to the brain. Do you know where most of the messages come from? Is the pelvic girdle. Yeah, that pelvic area is called your core down here. That's where the messages go. And most of you feel so crappy with that. Okay, I like to drink wine, but I don't like it. Well, understand something. Can I tell you something? Anybody that's going to be drinking alcohol, and that will not be me this year. Okay, I might crack a baby Corona. Okay, when I'm on and when I go back home to Ixtapa, Mexico. I live there and I live in the States. Okay, so when I go back home to Mexico, I may crack a baby Corona with my kids, but that'll be about it. Or maybe I'll crack 2 baby Corona, get a little buzz or something. But if I do more than 2 baby Corona, now I got a hangover, and I'm not that dumb. I'm not paying twice. I paid for the Coronas. I'm not going to pay again. And even if I did drink those Coronas, I would put it through here. Guess why? I won't get a hangover if I do that. But I'm still not going to do more than 2 baby Coronas, okay? But the reality is whether you drink wine, whether you drink beer, whether you drink alcohol, you pour it through here, you're going to get a buzz a lot quicker, but you're not going to have a hangover in the morning. And I'm telling you, you're not going to have a hangover. If you structure, you're not going to have a hangover. What people don't get is filtering your water is lame. No, it's not. You go ahead and filter it. But if you didn't structure it, it's lame, okay? Structuring is the key. That's why our ancestors only drank water from the waterfalls, from the mountains, fast-moving rivers, and from the rainfall. And that's why in some cities, they will actually fine you if you collect rainwater. Because you can collect rainwater even though little Billy is spraying the skies. And rainwater gets structured before it comes down. And even if there's chemicals in it, you can drink it. Well, if I'm lying, then why aren't the birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees, the microorganisms, why aren't they damaged? And why is it that the crops are just as good now as 500 years ago? Okay? So here's what I'm doing, everybody. Okay, I'm just going to let you know a little bit. I don't want to tell you everything I'm thinking because then you're going to go, Dr. Wolf, he's a conspiracy theorist. And understand something. Anybody who's been following for years, I've been on the money. I've been right on the money. Just know that April is a big day, is a big time. Near the end of March or April, you're going to see some big things happen in the world, okay? And then that's the Super Bowl kickoff. But this game's not going to last until 2032. So just so you know that. So I'm going to continue my world tour. And if I have to stop it, I will. I will return everybody's money from the Whole Life Coach course or the Wolf Non-Surgical course or the Pelvic course or the Braveheart Circle. I'll return all their money. Nobody will ever get ripped off. But the reality is that right now, I'd say we're looking at 80-20. Okay, 80% it's going to go fairly smooth. But that can change really quickly. And the reality is what I want you to take away from today, okay, is when you don't get your way, okay, you will pay. So when you don't get your way and you have a mood, you will pay. You'll go and drink, you'll go and toke, you'll go and eat something terrible, or you won't eat all day because you're that angry, okay? Whereas you need to learn from right now, today, until 2032, that you're going to have to pivot and give it. Pivot and give it. I'm going this way. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, you go ahead. You're going off a cliff, baby. Okay. Oh, wow. You see what's going on? Yes, time to pivot. Over here. Let's do this and let's go there. Oh, I'm never leaving my home. I'm staying here even if the military comes. I'm staying here even if I starve to death. I am not budging. Oh, let me tell you something. There is no authority over me, but I am going to make the right decisions, okay, and be in the right place at the right time. I am not going to be stubborn and tell myself, you know, the thing that I've always seen, and I got this about 20 years ago, is like, and we do this all the time, and Lori can tell you that we'll be working on this huge project going this direction and find out that the psychos out there or the government or the medical system, oh my God, you know what? They come after me, right? Anything that I can sort out about my IBS. I promise I will look through all of these before I'm finished. You know, I forgot the other day and I apologize. You know, if you're going to say something, Daryl, do it, okay? But I will tell you that we have invested money into things, and then we find out that if we follow through, it had nothing to do with us being failures or making the wrong decision. It was the world. The world is just going to do it. I mean, it's just going to roll over you, baby. There's certain things you can do, and there's certain things you better not be so foolish. Okay, all right. And so we're gonna do this world tour, and we're gonna be really flexible. But I will tell you what we're doing, and that's this, okay? Isn't it kind of funny? You know what? I really believe the Super Bowl starts in April, and my app is being released in April. That's how long it's going to take, because this is the most powerful healing and health and self-love app that's ever been made, okay? That I know of. I'm not kidding. And it's going to be free to the world, okay? And that's coming out in April. And what we're going to be doing while we're traveling is we're actually going to be building a really professional film studio, where I will have this app and platform where I will have the most powerful people in the world, more powerful than me, great speakers that have great gifts to give the world. They'll be coming on 15 minutes every week, and they will offer master classes. And they will offer their master classes at a really beautiful deal for people. That's the deal that they have to do if they want to come on my platform. And I hope to have about 60 regular TV shows. It's called DocStar TV. And right now we have what's called DocStar TV Guide at docofdetox.com. You can click on there and you'll see all the crazy shows and antics that I do to try to get your attention. And because I'm really trying to get your attention, because you are beautiful, and you were created by God Almighty, and you deserve everything. You deserve everything, and you're not going to get it. Do you know why? Because guess what? The price tag on you has limits, okay? Because you either feel you don't deserve it from guilt, some kind of guilt, or you're a failure. And by the way, I'm going to tell you something. There are no losers, okay? There are no losers. There's chances to learn. You know, sometimes you're just going to win, and when you win, it's really great, isn't it? But, you know, the things that I try to do, I usually win maybe, honestly, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 12. So what do I do with the rest? I learn from that, because it's repetition and learning and growing. Okay, and it's connecting to your breath, and it's enjoying the ride. Listen, please don't get me wrong. I love United States, you know, but you know that right now United States is threatened like a really a scared little boy. So it's out going around the world terrorizing, and all because guess what? So you gotta know a little bit of this, guys. You know, it's because the US dollar is crumbling. Okay, there's a whole new platform coming in, and major parts of the world like Russia and China and Saudi Arabia and Syria and Iran, they're all coming together. It's called BRICS. And you know, they're leaving the US dollar. So the US is having a huge tantrum. So understand this. So there's going to be things that you can yell about, scream about, you can get upset about, and then go eat terrible foods and do terrible things to yourself because you don't like your world. Or you can learn how to pivot and give it. And most of you are not going to do this. I'm telling you, if you get the opportunity to come and take a whole life coach certification from me, I promise you, I will give you the strategies and the tools and things I could never say here or show you. And this is not a sales pitch, because I don't take more than 24 in each course. It doesn't matter. We're not going over 24. So that's it. And I'm going to be teaching 8 more courses. First one's going to be in Ixtapa, Mexico at the 4 Diamond Resort, Cala del Mar. If you want to check it out, check out braveheartnation.com or bhnuniversity.com. Understand something. Do you know why things aren't going your way? Because you don't have your own belief systems. If you were in charge and you could go into your subconscious, which is 90% of your brain, and get rid of all of the psycho elites, they shouldn't be called elite, and the governments and the medical system, all the bullshit programs that they force fed you, and you actually work from them, and you're unconscious of that. And you know what? You're not dumb. You're not dumb. They did it to us. You know, we trusted them. We trusted them, and you're still trusting them. You should only trust in you. You should learn how to totally love you. Fill up your own heart. Let me tell you something. When I haven't got my heart full of love, okay, that is when I can mistreat my family. That is when I mistreat myself. And understand something. You can say you're full of crap, Daryl, but if you don't learn how to unconditionally love yourself, fill up your own heart, and don't ever make anybody responsible for loving you again. Just stop it. Just stop it. Totally love yourself. Tell yourself you're a genius. Connect to your lion heart breath. Put a slight smile on your face. And understand, start making great choices. Clean out the cupboard, clean out the fridge. And for God's sakes, make sure you've got a storage of some food, at least a year. Okay, come on. It's not a lot for lentils and beans and rice and other grains. Just store them. You'll eat them anyways, and store them someplace where they stay fresh. Also, make sure you can get your hands on water, and make sure, okay, that you're not going to they're going to freeze you out. And listen, this isn't fear mongering. Everybody should do this. Okay, let me give you a question. Do you trust the medical system? Do you trust Big Pharma? Do you trust the government? Do you trust little Billy? Okay, all right. Do you trust George? Okay. Do you trust Justin? Okay. Do you trust Biden? Okay. Should I keep going? And understand something. Okay. Mind your own business. That means that you are going to love, care, and respect yourself and say, what am I really good at? And in these next years, because it's going to be a bumpy ride up until 2032, what can I offer and barter? And what can I offer the world that they are going to want to barter with me? Just in case, you know? And why wouldn't you do that anyways? This is all just going to benefit you and your family. Oh my God. Why don't you ask your family, okay? Why don't you ask your family if they would be offended if you totally loved yourself and cared for yourself? And if anybody in your family said that, okay, that would be only because they don't love and care for themselves. How does it feel to be a parasite? No, how does it feel to be a vampire family where you have to suck on each other for love? Now listen, I hope you're getting what I'm saying. I'm not picking. This is a doctor calling from Puerto Rico, just so you know. And so he's got something to say. He's pretty relentless, okay? So, anyways, I just want to say this. One of the hardest things you're ever going to do is fall in love with yourself. And if you could do that, this would all be over. Oh, yeah. And you think I'm kidding? Well, guess what? That which you call God is the most powerful frequency vibration in the universe. It created the universe. And I don't even know what it is. But the reality is my spirit is a vibration frequency. And the reality is this, whatever feeds gets bigger. So you go ahead and you feed your negative thoughts, your negative beliefs, your negative programs. You go ahead and keep hating something. You go ahead and keep disliking something, and you will be sick for the rest of your life. You will give yourself a life-threatening disease, and the life-threatening disease starts in the invisible, and it starts in the psychological, and then moves into the biological, and it's not your fault. How's that? Everything I said today, I want to tell you something, and that's this. You are a beautiful spirit created by God Almighty, which I do not believe in hardly anything that people say the way they think what God is. The reality is this. Everything's been made up for you, and it was made up hundreds of thousands of years ago so that we could just pass it down through the generations. Well, let me tell you something. If all of these stories from history are so good, then why are things so bad? Okay? And understand something. We don't need to have currency or money on this planet, but it's always going to be here. So this is a slave planet. But I will tell you, I'm one of the freest slaves on this planet that you'll ever find. And that's because first you got to be free here, which means that you've got to get rid of all of the dysfunctional belief systems that have been dumped into you. Okay? So just remember this. Bad foods create bad moods. Bad moods create bad relationships with yourself and everyone else. Oh, nobody loves me. Oh, everybody treats me like shit. Well, that's because you treat yourself like shit. Okay? And you treat them like shit, but you don't even know because that's been your whole personality and you don't even know it. I mean, I'm not going to ask somebody, do you know what love is? Because people only know what love is because they've only known a certain type of love. And I don't want to be loved, okay, by almost everybody. I don't want that kind of love because it's a corrupt love. It's a love. Let me tell you something. Almost every relationship that I've seen, it's a ransom love. If you give me this, I'll give you this. If you don't give me this, oh, you're not getting this. Oh, you're going to get this. Tell me I'm wrong. So the reality is why don't you just start loving and caring for yourself today, okay? And then maybe you won't have bad foods that create bad moods, that create bad bacteria, that create bad messages to your brain, and you don't know why you're crying. You don't know why you're angry. You don't know why you're sick, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because they're sick, and they're in charge of the planet. So here's the deal. You may like this one. But that which you call God has granted these psychos this. So that maybe the game down here is actually, let's see if you can be in a life-threatening, okay, situation and rise above it. Maybe that's what we're here for. Maybe we're just really low on the spiritual scale and we need to come up, you know. Maybe I was a rock one time, then I was just bacteria, and then maybe I was just, I don't know. Everybody makes up, how many different religions are they? So why don't you pick one? I'm not going to pick any of them. I'm going to pick that I am part of this whole universal playground, okay? And that I am in spiritual school, so I better get my act together. So whatever I feed gets bigger. So I am going to feed love into myself and love out to the world as much as I possibly can. No matter if the world doesn't have to like me, the world doesn't have to go my way, I'm still going to have 3, 2, 1, the perfect day. So, I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I am going to trust, honor, love, and respect myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can. I am Braveheart. Listen, you better do something. You better become your own cheerleader, okay? If you know what's good for you. Now, if you think that through these next years that people are going to be able to pay attention to you, they're going to be so caught up in their own BS belief systems, they're not going to be there for you. Or you're just going to come together scared, or you're going to come together as a hate group. Really? Like, what's that going to do? Has that gotten us anywhere? What if we all unconditionally loved ourselves and each other and we minded our own business? Oh, and we didn't eat any bad foods. Well, one thing, BlackRock that owns all the supermarkets in North America would go bankrupt, wouldn't they? Now, if you want to do something, then why wouldn't you do? There's a great protest. I'm going to protest by loving and caring for myself and never eating any more garbage or stimulants to try to release dopamine and serotonin from my brain because people just don't love me enough and I'm not having a good day. Well, I'm going to have the best day of my life. And just remember that our Black Friday sale starts on Friday. Well, that would be good, Daryl. And I want you to have the best day, and we'll see you again. God bless.